Okay, last night I watched a movie that I consider to be a biography of my life, basically, more or less. It's like the story of how I came to Vancouver and what it looked like and how it went. So, yeah, this movie I think was made kind of like telling the future in a way. We're here to tell the future today, and this is the story of what will be Joey's life in Vancouver. So it's a movie called They Live, and it starts off where. Well, first, Roddy Piper. He's a super handsome, friggin' totally clean homeless guy that's walking around with tools. He's walking around with his tools, and he's homeless, and he's just showed up to apparently Los Angeles or some terrible place. He goes to a construction yard, and he's like, "I need a job." But like, "You're not a union guy." And he's like, "Ooh," but they give him a job anyways. And then it shows Roddy Piper with his big muscles. He's just like digging in the dirt and pounding stuff with a hammer. And look at Roddy Piper. He's so tough. Yeah, he is. He's a totally wonderful guy. And then he's like, uh, some foreman yells at him, "Well, you can't live here on the work site. You got to leave for the night, go somewhere else." And Roddy doesn't know where he's going to go, but he makes this new friend, and it's his buddy. And his buddy says, "Come stay over by this mission here. We got free food and whatnot." So he goes over to this mission, and it's basically like a homeless camp, we saw in Vancouver Victory Square in the past, or any one of these homeless camps where just people basically getting together and basically trying to help each other survive, get by, right? So Roddy Piper goes to this homeless camp and they get some food. People are making food, and there's some cooperation and community, and it's all good. And but then it shows these guys later on, and they are watching TV. And as they're watching TV, suddenly the TV cuts in, and there's this weird guy's face, and he's like, "They live, they control you, they're trying to own you. The whole world is being run by these guys." It kind of goes on like that, and he's this funny duddy old guy, and he's telling everybody that they're slaves, and the TV comes in and out. People are like, "Oh, I'm getting a headache. That's enough of this." And anyways, that goes on a couple times, and Roddy Piper kind of takes half notice of it. So the next that night, he's like watching over at that church, but people are still doing things in that church at like 4 in the morning. He's like, "Wow, that's pretty weird." The next day after he goes to work, Roddy Piper, wrestling legend. Yeah, I love him. He's so great. And he was a total animal, Roddy Piper. Like I seen this guy once in a steel cage fight with Ravishing Rick Rude, in which his face was busted all open. He was such an animal, man. Roddy Piper. He was so hilarious. Great wrestler. There's that time that Ravishing Rick Rude was fighting Ultimate Warrior at SummerSlam 1989, and Ravishing Rick Rude got distracted by Roddy Piper, who lifted his kilt to show his bare butt to Ravishing Rick Rude. He got all upset and jumped over the rope, started freaking, but then the Warrior came and pinned him and won the Intercontinental title. Roddy Piper, just this great legendary character in wrestling, former tag team partner of Jesse the Body Ventura. All great Hollywood people. Okay, back to the story. So the next day, Roddy Piper's looking at that church, and he's like, "What's going on in that church? Something's going on." So he sneaks in and he looks, and when he gets in there, there's like a weird lab set up. It looks kind of like a meth lab or something is going on there. There's all these boxes, and then he goes into the where it should be a choir singing. You can hear this choir, but when he gets in, looks in there, there's no choir singing. It's just these guys, and it's the same guy from the TV the night before, whose face was, "The aliens are after you, and they live, and it's all a big conspiracy." That guy, right? He's in there, and he's talking to these people. He's like, "The revolution's here. We need to get these glasses out," and Roddy Piper's like, "Oh my!" And he tries to leave, but then he kind of trips and he gets discovered by the street pastor. The street pastor, and the street pastor is you think like you expect in the movie that the street pastor is gonna, like, I don't know, turn him in or screw him over or "You been caught," but actually he's just like, "The revolution starts now. You can join us. I gotta feel your face to make sure you're not an alien." Of course, we don't know that yet. So Roddy Piper is like totally weirded out, and he leaves and goes back to the homeless camp, and he tries to tell his new friend he's made there. I can't forget the actor's name or the character's name. Bald guy, black skinned, and he's got a family. He's got 2 kids back in Detroit. He doesn't want to get involved in anything because he just wants to work. And like a lot of Americans, a lot of people just wants to get by, doesn't want to get involved, doesn't want to do anything that would, he's like, I got a family, So Roddy Piper tries to talk to him. He's like, there's something going on in that church, And guy's like, I don't want to know. I got a family, man, can't risk being involved, can't risk thinking about it. So then that night, just like in reality, the homeless camp's attacked by riot cops, and this happens all the time. In fact, I've seen it several times with my own eyes because I was an activist who organized homeless people, a long time ago. Riot cops come and they blow up the church and beat up everybody and arrest everybody, and then they got a big front end loader. And actually, it was really well done, these scenes, I thought, because they had the riot police were really aggressive and moving in unison in every direction. It really reminded me of protests and riots I'd been at 20 years ago, how the net closed in on everybody, the cops surrounding from all directions, and then you got the front end loader. It's just running over the homeless camp's materials and smashing everything, destroying everything, breaking them and pushing them out. And the next morning, after hiding out, Roddy Piper now has nowhere to go. So he goes back into that church, that it's all smoking and ruined, and goes in there and he manages to find one box still that hasn't, been, because what happened was when they thought they were going to get raided, they started trying to take all the boxes out. So he opens the box and what's in it but a pair of glasses. And just a pair of glasses? That's what is this all about? Just a pair of glasses, Roddy Piper says. But then he puts the glasses on and he walks around outside, and the glasses tell him the way things actually are in reality. So all the signs he's reading start changing, and they start saying different things. They say things like, obey, work, breed, consume, obey, die, watch television, have children. It's giving all these, and it's like everywhere. And I thought it was really funny because these glasses give him the ability to see these messages, and a lot of the messages are so true, and it's like they were on every billboard. It might be like, take a nice vacation to Mexico, and instead it says, obey when you put the glasses on, right? And then it'd be like, all the subtle messaging that we see in our world that is put at us all the time. People think about propaganda, but they don't think about propaganda in the reality that even things that are very benign sort of serve this purpose of like pointing us towards this belief system as to how life should be and what life's about. Life's about getting rich and having 2.3 children, white picket fence, keeping up the Joneses, acquire as much wealth as you can acquire. And it's like all the subtle messaging is on everything. It's like, so Roddy Piper looks at his money, and his money says, I am your God. That's what it says on the money, right? And finally, when he's looking with the glasses at everything, he sees that some people are aliens, the odd one, and then he like goes into this grocery store and he sees that it's like a kind of a bougie grocery store in the rich part of town there, and almost everybody in the grocery store is these alien people. So then he's like tries to expose them. How are you? I can see you. You're hideous. And then the alien's just talking there, watching, like, okay, we got one who can see us. And Roddy's like, shit. So he runs away, and the cops are after him, and he tries to get away, and he can't, but then he does, and they don't catch him. But he ends up going on this rampage where he like shoots like 5 of these alien guys. So now he's really wanted, right? Really wanted. And later on, he as he's trying to get away, he gets into this vehicle somehow, and with this woman, he's like, you gotta get me out of here. And she doesn't really resist. And when he gets to her house, he's trying to tell her, I'm sorry, I don't want to hurt you, but I gotta hide from the system, and just put these glasses on. Just put these glasses on, and you'll understand. He says, and she's like, no, even if I put, suppose I put the glasses on and don't see what you say, I'll still pretend that I saw it just to make you happy, or she says, or whatever. She's like, kind of gives him a bland answer. And what you don't realize at this point in the movie is that she already knows. And then finally she tells him what she does for a living. She works at Channel 54. which when he had the glasses on, he saw Channel 54, and all the broadcasters talking on Channel 54 are the alien people. So, then she like whacks him in the head with his bottle and knocks him out cold. So now he's knocked out cold. He falls out the window, rolls down the hill, and he gets away though. She looks down and she sees that the glasses are on the floor at her feet. You wonder, is she going to put them on and see for herself? So anyways, then Roddy Piper goes back downtown after all, falling out of a window, and he finds his buddy again, his bald buddy who has the two kids that doesn't want to get involved. And Roddy's like, just put these glasses on. And his buddy actually gives Roddy his pay for his job there, but he says, don't come back to the job site because they're looking for you here. And I don't want to be involved because I got kids. Like, my life's important. I got kids. I don't need no trouble. He doesn't want it. And Roddy Piper's like, just put the glasses on. Then you can see the world as I do. But he refuses because, like all people these days, they refuse to want to see. They have their comfort zones and they're very used to how things are and they like the way it is. And it's like, I'm just going to go to work, do my job, come home, feed my kids, not get involved, not speak out, not... I don't want to know. I don't even want to know. Not only am I not going to get involved, not speak out, I don't even want to know, more or less, right? So finally they have this really long fight that goes on. It's kind of over the top. It's in my point, I think the low point of the movie where they like spend 15 minutes, maybe, I don't know, maybe 5, like having this fight until finally Roddy like gets him, has him on the ground and puts the glasses on the guy, and the guy now sees himself. He can see now too. So now they get this hotel and like, what are we going to do? But then they end up bumping into this guy and he's like, there's a resistance meeting. Come to the resistance meeting. So they go to the resistance meeting, and who's at the resistance meeting but the same woman that clogged him over the head with the bottle and knocked him out of her house and nearly killed Roddy Piper. And she's like, hey, I'm sorry I almost killed you. And Roddy says, hey, that's okay, because I guess you wore the glasses and you're on my side now. And but what you don't know is she's a lying bitch. And suddenly the cops all show up and they start shooting everybody in the big resistance meeting. There was all these people there. They're going to try to change the world, but the cops came and they shot everybody. Roddy Piper gets away with the woman, doesn't realize still that she's a turncoat. And then him and his buddy and the woman, they get away and they use a watch to like disappear and go into this other place somehow with the watch. I don't know. I don't understand. And they get in this other place, and this other place is a meeting that the aliens are having with the collaborator humans. And this sort of reminds you of what's happening in America, Canada right now with Maple MAGA. There's like a big room with all the humans that are rich and wealthy, and they're sitting there with a bunch of alien overlords, and they're having this big meeting, and they're talking openly about what they're going to do. And this was a really funny part too. This is much like today. They said the plan, by the time the year 2025 comes around, everything will be in place and we'll have total control over the entire world. We'll have control over everybody. And that's when my kid said, wow, that's just like real life. And I said, yeah, movies are very much like real life often. So then Roddy Piper ends up realizing that they're in the alien underground subterranean hub, and they come out at Channel 54. But unfortunately, his friend has shot the black guy, and she's a liar, and she works for the aliens, and now they're on the roof where there's this big antenna, and the antenna is broadcasting across the entire world all the lies. And it's like this weird thing that because of the broadcast, people see the aliens as looking like humans. But if you just destroy this tower, then all the aliens will be seen for what they are. And then, so he's going to destroy it, but there she is. She shows up and she's going to kill him. Of course she is. She works for the aliens, and she says, you know what? I have a better life. I'm making more money. I'm getting by. Who cares if the aliens are eating people? Just like real life with the rich and wealthy. That's a really good critique on capitalism, I thought. And next thing you know, Roddy Piper shoots her, and then the helicopter comes, but in time, he shoots the antenna array. It blows it up as he's getting gunned down and killed by the helicopter. And next thing you know, the whole world can now see the aliens for what they are. And it shows all these people freaking out because they're like, oh my God, there's an alien in the bar with me. And, oh, look. And then even at the very last shot is this woman, and she's riding this guy naked, yeah, and tits hanging out. This is like old school movies. Back in the day when movies they didn't have, you never saw tits in your life when you were a kid. They didn't exist. It's like, but nowadays you could go on the internet and see them all the time. But back then they had to like slip it into a movie once in a while just so people could be like, finally, I got my tit fix. And then as she's riding this guy, she looks down and realizes that he's an alien too. And then that's the end of the movie. But a very, very true story. And it's like basically my biography of when I came to Vancouver and realized that everybody there is an alien, and that the whole economic system is corrupt, and that everything is a big lie. And if you just get involved in the lie and just get on board, and maybe you'll get lucky and you'll get ahead too. And maybe the aliens won't eat you. Maybe you'll be the lucky one that has all the good things in life, while the aliens are basically just making everybody else's lives miserable and using them like food of some sort. But yeah, it was really clear in the movie that there was a class context, that there's the people at the homeless camp and they're getting attacked by the cops. And from the homeless camp, you could look and you could see the big rich city of LA, all the big towers. They really made a point of that. They made a point to say on the TV and have people make mention in the movie several times that the poverty is increasing, that the middle class was disappearing, and that it was either now ultra wealthy or people in extreme poverty. And that's more or less what's happening in 2025. They Live, a prophetic movie about the future, not just a biography about my own life. Okay, that's my my movie review for today, everybody. Take care, and we'll see you next time out there. Bye, friends. Hit like, share, subscribe.